Have you ever wondered how someone can finish a marathon, hit the gym every morning, eat healthy, and then suddenly collapse from a heart attack? No warning, no dramatic chest pain, no obvious signs. One moment they're celebrating a personal best, and the next they're fighting for their life. It sounds impossible, but every year it happens to thousands of people who looked perfectly healthy from the outside. The frightening part? Your heart can hide dangerous disease for decades without causing a single symptom. In fact, some people don't discover they have heart disease until the very first and sometimes only warning is a heart attack. So, how can that happen? To understand the answer, we need to take a closer look inside the human heart. Think of your heart as the most reliable engine ever built. It never takes a day off. It beats over 100,000 times every single day, pumping blood through nearly 60,000 miles of blood vessels. But here's something most people don't realize. The heart can't survive on the blood flowing inside its own chambers. Instead, it feeds itself through a separate network of arteries wrapped around its surface. These are called the coronary arteries. Imagine them like the fuel lines supplying an engine. If one of those fuel lines becomes blocked, the engine doesn't keep running forever. Sooner or later, it begins to fail. Among these arteries, one is especially important. It's called the left anterior descending artery, or simply the LAD. Doctors often refer to it as the widowmaker. Not because the artery itself is unusual, Lina, but because it supplies blood to the largest and most powerful pumping chamber of your heart. If blood suddenly stops flowing through this artery, a massive portion of the heart is instantly starved of oxygen. That's why blockages here are often so deadly. But here's where things become surprising. Heart disease doesn't appear overnight. It develops silently over many years. Inside every healthy artery is a smooth inner lining. Picture a brand new, non-stick frying pan. Everything slides across it effortlessly. Blood flows just as smoothly. But over time, high blood pressure, smoking, high blood sugar, chronic inflammation, and even genetics can slowly damage that protective surface. The injuries are microscopic. You can't feel them. You don't notice them. But your body does. It immediately starts making repairs. Cholesterol particles become part of that repair process. White blood cells arrive to clean up the damage. At first, everything seems under control, but year after year, those repair sites grow larger. Fat, inflammatory cells, calcium, and cellular debris gradually build into what's known as plaque. This condition is called atherosclerosis. Now, here's the biggest myth about heart disease. Most people imagine plaque growing inward, like rust clogging an old water pipe. It seems logical. The opening gets smaller. Blood flow decreases. Symptoms gradually appear. Except, that's usually not what happens. Instead, your artery often expands outward. Rather than squeezing the blood channel shut, the vessel stretches to make room for the growing plaque. From the inside, blood continues flowing almost normally, which means you can jog every morning, you can lift weights, you can finish a 10K race, you can feel stronger than ever, while dangerous plaque quietly grows inside your artery walls. That's why so many people are completely shocked when they suffer a heart attack. Their body never warned them, because as far as blood flow was concerned, everything still looked normal, and that's exactly what makes heart disease so dangerous. The real threat isn't always the blockage you can feel, it's the one you never knew existed. So, if blood is still flowing, what suddenly turns a silent plaque into a life-threatening heart attack? The answer comes down to one tiny event: a rupture. Think of plaque like a volcano hidden beneath the surface. From the outside, everything looks calm, but underneath, pressure is building. Many dangerous plaques aren't hard like stone. They're soft, unstable, and covered by an incredibly thin protective layer. Most of the time, that layer holds. But sometimes, a sudden spike in blood pressure, extreme emotional stress, or intense physical exertion can cause it to tear open. The instant that happens, your immune system reacts as if you've suffered a serious injury. Platelets rush to the area. Blood begins to clot. Normally, that's exactly what you want after cutting your skin. Inside a coronary artery, it's a disaster. Within minutes, the clot can completely block blood flow. At that point, oxygen can no longer reach the heart muscle. The cells begin to die. This is what's known as a type 1 heart attack. Ironically, it isn't always the biggest plaque that's most dangerous. Smaller, unstable plaques are actually more likely to rupture than older, heavily calcified ones. That's one reason someone with only moderate artery disease can still experience a massive heart attack. But there's another way the heart can fail. Imagine someone who's been cycling for years. Their cholesterol looks good, their annual physical is normal. During a long ride, they suddenly become dizzy. Their legs feel unusually weak. They're short of breath. But they never experience crushing chest pain. What happened? In this case, the artery may not be completely blocked at all. Instead, the heart simply can't receive enough oxygen to match what it's demanding. At rest, the narrowed artery delivers plenty of blood.